So many sad faces, gazing into space, waiting for somebody else to make the world a better place. Leave it up to the other man or to another day. If anything goes down, be looking the other way. I say, come on. Good morning, good morning. Dr. Herbert Harris here. Hey, Lynette, thank you for joining us today. Wow, this is going to be a great day for living, sharing, and being alive. Folks, we have a special treat for you today. We have Kenya Crooks, my favorite personal trainer. Let's see, get Kenya in here on the program. Good morning. Good morning. Reflector. Okay, Lynette. Today is a great day for living, sharing, and being alive. This is Fantastic Friday. And today we're going to talk about success. We're going to talk about success from many points of view, but in particular with my friend Kenya Crooks. You know, as a personal trainer, I'm always amazed at the potential for people to change their lives based on a new image they see of themselves. I used to really be more into martial arts. And one of the reasons that I did it was because I wanted to feel comfortable and confident. You know, I was never bullied that much. Anybody that tried to bully me, I'd make them laugh. Hey, Kenya, welcome. Join us. All right, let's see. Let me push another one through here. Let's see here. All right. Okay, you should be coming through. Anyway, our talk today is, of course, based on our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and based on some life stories, some life lessons. And today, I think one of the greatest life lesson teachers is my friend Kenya Crooks. Good morning, Kenya.
What's going on, Doc? How you feeling?
Any better, they're gonna make it illegal.
That's what I'm saying. Look, it's Friday. Life is good. The weekend is here, and look, I'm excited about hanging out with you today.
I've been just so impressed with some of the things you've done, some of the things you're doing. And I love celebrity trainers. I mean, that must be a special task.
Thank you so much. It's a blessing to be able to do what you love and to motivate and inspire people to the next level.
Now, you just said two very powerful things. Do what you love. Now, have you already done personal training?
Well, I've been doing this like what? I've been doing this since '99. And the funny thing is, I was at a crossroads in life. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do once football was over. And so I was at the gym one day, and this lady walked up to me. She was like, well, you look like you know what you're doing. Can you help me do X, Y, and Z? Can you help me lose my stomach? I want to tighten up my thighs. She was like, I'll pay you to help me do it. And again, I was like, well, shoot, I'll do it for nothing. I mean, I do this all the time anyway. Let me show you. And so she ended up losing over 25 pounds in a month. And again, because this is not what I was aiming to do life-wise, I didn't know that was phenomenal. I thought everybody just did it, lost 20 to 30 pounds in a month. And I was like, okay, cool. And so one day I was talking with somebody, and she was like, Kenya, you have an amazing gift. Have you thought about making that your business? And I was like, you know what? I do like to work out. I do like to help people. I do have a pretty cool way of getting results. I'm like, we might be on to something. And because I was transitioning, and all because somebody asked the magic question of, can you help me? This is what brought me to where I am today.
You know, that's a very a profound statement, because so many times you set out to do one thing in life and life takes you someplace else. Many people ignore that. You know, they'll be coming out. Well, let me see. I'm getting ahead of myself. Tell me a little about your background. Can you were a football player. You went to college. Tell me a little about that. Share that with
me. Okay. Well, shoot. I'm originally from Seneca, South Carolina, right down the street from Clemson. I was a high school All-American. So I was a 2-3-time All-State performer in football. I was a 2-time All-American in football. I was All-State in track. I was All-Conference in basketball for 3 years. Went to Clemson, set records at Clemson, and then actually transferred my senior year to Western Carolina, where I was second team All-Conference in the Southern Conference. And then after I did that, I played ball did arena ball for a little bit. And then I was like, I really don't like people making choices for me. Because here's the thing, that there's really no difference between a person who plays in the NFL and arena or Canadian Football League. It's a matter of opinion for the most part. So if somebody thinks that you should be here, you'll be there. But if somebody don't think you should be there, you won't be there, okay? So as a business person, I was like, you know what? Before I even started my own business, I worked for somebody else. And actually, I worked at Gold's Gym in Clemson, South Carolina. And I looked at the sheet, because at the end of the month, we would have a sheet that would go around talking about how much the club made, how much the gym made. And I was doing training, and I was opening up the gym, and I was doing sales. And I looked at the sheet, and I was like, wait, this is substantially more than what I'm making. And I was thinking to myself, well, shoot, I'm bringing in a lot of the money. And I was just thinking to myself, you know what? How about we switch that up? So instead of me bringing in money for somebody else, why don't I bring in money for myself? And that was one of the major catalysts. And that was one of the biggest things that I took from sports. You don't want people making decisions about you in order for you to get to the next level. You want to have control of taking yourself to the next level. And that's what being a business person, an entrepreneur, allows you to do. It allows you to make decisions for yourself.
Now, you know, so many people, I think, get to that crossroad and they can't do it. That is somewhat a little scary when you start to take your life into your hands and say, hey, whatever it is, I did it. I am responsible. But there must be something a little special inside you that made you have the courage to step out and do that.
Well, I'm crazy. And I have a lot of faith. I guess when you come from a situation where everything was based upon somebody else's decision, you want to make the transition. Because it's kind of like, well, I already know what this is like when people make decisions for you. And people decide if you play or not. See, over here, I can make the decision if I play or not. I can make the decision if I market on this platform or several other platforms. I can make the decision of who I hire, who I fire, who I bring out, who I get rid of. See, I enjoy being the player. Okay, I enjoy being the player, but it's a lot better when you're the owner, yes. You're the head coach, you're the offensive coordinator. Yes. You call in plays. If you fail or if you lose, it's because of you, not because somebody decided to play you or not. It's all about power, and it's all about perspective.
Well, you know, as you were talking, I was thinking, so many people want to be a baller, but you say, I want to be the shot caller.
Yes, it's kind of like what Chris Rock said one time. He said Shaq, when Shaq was with the LA Lakers, he said, now, Shaq is rich. He was like, but the person who signs Shaq's check is wealthy. I'd much rather be wealthy
That's it.
than rich.
That's it. Now, you know, to go from where you started to where you are, I mean, you trained some of the celebrities. That should be an interesting experience. When you're called to train a celebrity, what is there a difference between training a celebrity and training a person who's not a celebrity?
No, I keep it all the same. I keep it all the same. I don't care if you're Tony Braxton or Tony Ollie. You know, it doesn't matter if you're Candy Burris or Candy Thompson from Decatur, Georgia. You know, it doesn't matter. And people appreciate that about me, that what you see is what you get. And that's, you know, I only know how to be one speed. I'm only one person. So the person that you see here is the same person you'll see at the gym, at the grocery store, at a ball game. I'm the same way all the time, because I've been disappointed by people who I've met before. You'll see them on TV and they're so nice, and then you meet them in real life and it's a disappointment. I never in life wanted to be that person to where it's like, well, shoot, he's cool on the screen, but when you see him in person, he big time you. My goal is when I meet people and people run up to me and they hug me, they kiss me, and they're like, oh, I follow you on social media and I do your workouts, I do your exercises, or I saw you on Mama June and I love when you was on there and this, that, and other. My goal is to make you feel just as good as you made me feel. So when you leave me, you like, shoot, I'm 10 times happier walking away. That's my goal. I want to make you feel good, and I want you to understand that just how you see me is how I see you, and that's how you should see.
Well, you know, I think that comes under adding value to people's lives. That when you can add value to someone's life, I see some of the pictures and on some of your posts where someone lost 50 pounds or 60 pounds or 100 pounds. And you look at that person and you say, man, you have added so much. You took off the weight and added value.
Yeah. And that's what I try to do, no matter what social media platform you'll see. I'm a give type person, regardless if you buy from me or not. I'm a give. I'm a value. Even if you're on my newsletter or on my email list, value, because that's what people want. That's what people need. That's what people crave. And that's what brings everything together. When the goal is to create a relationship with everybody. Because when people know that you're cared about, they respond to you differently. That's why when people see me, they get excited, they hug me, because I've added value to them. And that's what I try to do, no matter if it's a reel, a post, an Insta story. I try to give value.
There's a great saying, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Woo!
That's a true statement.
Now, can you? It can't all have been, like a bed of roses. When you started out, were there any obstacles? Well, let's look at in your life. You have brothers and sisters? Okay.
I have a sister.
A younger sister.
I have a younger sister.
When you started out, were there any obstacles that you might say walls or things that kept you from moving to where you wanted to go?
Oh, plenty of walls. Let me give you a great case in point. I decided to move to Atlanta in my early 30s. I decided to move to Atlanta. And again, where I was, it was cool. It was real cool. I was in South Carolina. I was doing good money. I was doing awesome. But one day, I was sitting in the living room, and God spoke to me. God said, the gift that I've given you is bigger than the area that you're serving. I need for everybody to experience what your gift is. And I was happy about that. And I was like, yeah, that's what's happening. But then it was like, okay, now what do I do? It's like, I got the word, I got the message. Now what do I do? And then it was evident and it was apparent. Okay, you got to move. You got to go to a bigger place that will challenge you, where people are constantly grinding, constantly doing it. And again, I was comfortable where I was, but that wasn't where my final destination was. So I moved out here, and I was with this lady for a minute, because you know when you come to Atlanta, you always gotta have women.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. There's plenty of women out here. So hooked up with a lady, and so we got together, moved in together, and everything was cool until we had a situation where it was kind of like, you know, like how you have a crossroads moment. And so we broke up, and we had shared a house, and I wanted her to have the house because she had already had a kid, and she had a niece also. So I'm like, okay, you keep the house. But see, here's the problem. This is what I didn't think about. Okay, now if you having her stay here and you going away, y'all blah, because again, we were just dating. We were just dating. I had a decision to make. Do I go home back to South Carolina, or do I try to make it work here? So for a minute, I would work out people, and I would like find like a cheap hotel. Okay, I would find like the cheapest hotel on that side of town. Boom, rinse and repeat. Then money got low. Then I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I was like, okay, you're real cool with one of the girls in the group. She's kind of like your sister. Shout out to Kimberly Bradford. She let me crash on her couch for 3 months, 3 to 4 months,
wow,
until I got my life together, until I was able to get my own spot. And had it not been for her, I would have had to move back to South Carolina. You wouldn't be talking to me. I wouldn't be married. I wouldn't have been on Mama June from Not to Hot, the #1 reality show in America, new reality show in America when it came out. None of that would have happened. The millions that we made with this business would never have happened had it not been for Kimberly Bradford and letting me crash on her couch for 3 to 4 months until I got my life together. So, and that was hard. That was hard, but it let me know never to get in that situation again. But it also let me know that all you have to do sometimes is put your pride to the side and just ask.
Yes.
Just ask. Look, I'm going through stuff right now. Can I crash with you for a little bit? Look, I'll give you money, y'all blah. I just need your couch for a little bit. So I can get my own spot, and then boom, it's all good. And she'll tell you, that was 13 years ago. That was 13 years ago. And I still bless her out of her mind because she did that solid for me back
now,
in the
you
day.
know, that's a lesson. That's one of the life lessons that you often need somebody. As you say, I like to put your pride to the side and ask somebody for what you need.
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes you just got to open your mouth. But, you know, I was so determined, and I believed in myself and my vision so bad. You know, I was even thinking about, okay, Piedmont Park is down the road. I can just stay in my car until I get my life together. I was that dead set against going back home, and because I didn't want to go back a failure, and I didn't want to quit on my dream, and I didn't want to settle. Because again, I had already got the word that, hey, this is for you. Make sure the world gets your vision. I sent you out here to do this. So yeah, I was gonna make that happen no matter what.
How did you stay focused? You know, so often when circumstances are not the way we think they should be, we get distracted. How did you stay focused through that period to get to that next level?
Through keeping the main thing the main thing. And Kim will tell you, when I used to come back to her apartment, I would have a thing called a boom. And if anybody has worked in production, a boom is a microphone that you just walk around with. And so I was still like filming stuff, and I was still like doing production on stuff. I was one of the people who did online workouts early. I was doing online workouts, group workouts in 2009, 2010. Even before all of this stuff happened in 2020, I was doing it 10 years ahead of time. So I always kept my focus on the vision, on what I was supposed to be doing. And again, I never really thought about, hey, you crashing on somebody's couch. I was just thinking about, okay, let's breeze through this. Let's get through this as quickly as possible. Let's focus. We ain't having no pity parties because we got too many things to do. And the faster we can get through this little piece right here, the faster we get to the other side of it. Because if you're going to go through something, go through it quickly.
Yes.
Go through that thing quickly. Just don't cruise through your mess. Accelerate through your mess so you can get out of that thing.
You just dropped another. Don't cruise through your mess. Accelerate to your best.
Yes. Get to the other side of it, because life has a certain speed to it. So you can suffer slow, or you can suffer quickly. I'd much rather meet the pain head on and go through the pain than just enduring the pain, going through it, taking life blows. No, let's go through it. Let's get past it. Let's get to the next level. Let's turn the page, get to the next chapter.
How'd you get on Mama June's show? How did that happen?
Let's see. Gina hit me up, who's her manager. She was like, hey, I need you to help out June. I've seen you help out so many people. She was like, I follow you. I see the transformations. I've seen all of the articles, and we've been watching you, and we need you to help us. And first of all, I didn't even know what a Mama June was. Because she was like, have you heard of Honey Boo Boo? I'm like, I've heard of Honey Boo Boo, but I've never watched the show. And so I had to watch, and so I had to go back and watch previous episodes, and I was like, okay, this reminds me of my hometown. Because where I'm from, that was the norm. And the beautiful thing about where I'm from, it's kind of like, it's really weird. It's kind of like the most improbable people always hang out and become friends. That's the beautiful thing about the hometown experience. So it's kind of like the hardest thug you've ever seen in your life would be friends with the most dirtiest, craziest, just chewing and tobacco spitting person you've ever seen in your life, and they would just be friends. Matter of fact, I used to get a ride home from high school when I played high school football from a guy named Kenny Doyle. And again, I was like hip hop, R&B. He was Garth Brooks and George Strait. But that's how that was. Yeah, that's how that was. And that hometown experience is a beautiful thing to come from, because it teaches you to love everybody.
You also said something powerful there too, because you never know who's watching you. It's like when Mama June's people reached out to you, you had already been doing what you do on the level that they could appreciate it and say, this is the person, this is the man we need.
Yeah, you never know who's watching. And that's the beautiful thing about social media. And I tell people never get discouraged by likes. Don't do stuff for likes. Just do it based upon what you feel like you need to do. Because one of the things I've realized is this: a lot of people won't like your stuff, but a whole bunch of people will watch your stuff. So it's kind of like Facebook stories or Instagram stories. You get to see all the people who watch. They'll let you see everybody who watches. But when you go to a certain post, those people won't like those posts, but they're still watching. So sometimes you gotta act like, regardless of the numbers, a million people are watching your stuff. So you have to maintain that mentality when you're coming up with content. And again, it's all about serving people and also being true to yourself. Because again, I like creating content, I like serving people, I like helping people. So regardless if 2 people or 1,000 people or 2,000 people or 15,000, 20,000 people, or even 1 million people watch or like, I'm still doing what I love to do.
Tiffany say you're right.
They always watching. Again, they might not like. And again, you got some haters out there, and you got some nosy people out there who always want to see what you're doing, but don't want to give you the like because they don't want to acknowledge you.
Yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge what you're doing. And they don't want to give you the hand clap of praise of that a boy or that a girl. They don't want to do that because it makes people, a lot of times, your success makes people kind of feel bad about themselves, and it also makes them understand that had they stuck it out, this is where they could have been. So your success is a reminder to a lot of people. And so that's why I always tell people, don't take stuff personal when people don't like your stuff or when they don't acknowledge you. Because again, a lot of times you're just a reminder of what they could have had they just stuck it out.
I want to thank you for something, man. You know, when you acknowledged our book, The 12 Universal Laws of Success, and you gave me such a good feeling about it. When you how'd you come in to find the book?
Okay, now my wife made sure I told this story. I told she was like, make sure you tell Dr. Harris that you know the story. I was like, okay, I'll make sure I tell her. So she follows somebody on Instagram, and they were raving about your book. So she was like, you know, I got to get this book. And so she got the book, and I caught her reading it one day, and I'm nosy, so she had it laying around, so I started reading it, and I made it a point to read some of it every day. So right before I take a shower, boom, I'm reading a little bit, reading a few pages, boom, put it down, come back, and that was my ritual. And I would always highlight stuff, and again, it's an awesome and transformative book. I mean, tons and tons of jewels. And actually, I have the book here. And one of my favorite sections is the human magnetism. Okay, so as you see, I have it highlighted. I have stuff highlighted. and some of my favorites is when you said, you know, realize most of the things that you worry about never happens. Also, practice living one day at a time. Now, that one I had to really work on because I've always been so focused on what's down the road. But reading that chapter also made me realize, you know, how much I miss during the moment because I'm so focused on either looking ahead or focused on what just happened that I don't appreciate the now. So when you start appreciating the now, then you get to live in the now. And that was something that I was not good at, living in the now.
That's beautiful. Man, I love to hear stories about the book because so often people will come up to me. You know, Kenya, one day a guy called on the 800 number and he said, sounded very professional. He said, is Dr. Harris still alive? And let me check. So I got back to him. I said, yeah, he's alive. And this guy said, man, he said he was a minister from Europe, and he got the book. He said,
that's awesome.
Everything I wanted to write in the book is already here, and I just needed to call and acknowledge it. And so once again, you never know who's watching your stuff. You never know who's following your stuff. You never know whose life you're touching. The beauty is to live a life of example. When I watch your videos, I see that you do it very authentically. This is you, as you say. This is the Kenya you see now. Is the Kenya you see tomorrow, and the Kenya you saw last week. And that's powerful, brother.
Right. Thank you. Again, the book is phenomenal, and let me see. There was another one and it goes back to the other section that I really enjoy, the law of value, and you open it up with the 8th universal law of success is the universal law of value and mutual exchange, and then you go to Matthew 7:6 that says, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and render/tear you. And so it goes back to value. I can't serve you if I'm not me. I can't serve you if I'm making myself and I'm putting myself here and making you feel here. And a lot of people in our community like to talk down to people. This is what you need to do. You'd be a fool if you didn't do this. Well, here's the thing. Everybody should be adding value and everybody should be uplifting. Everybody should be, I mean, even if you look at different communities, successful communities, everybody helps one another. Everybody, even if, and when I talk to my folks and I talk to my bricks, as I affectionately call them, and I tell them stuff like, okay, this is what we need to do. Or even if we got to have a hard conversation, because again, my program is extremely personal to where I will call you. It doesn't matter how many people I got following me, how many people we got on a monthly membership. If I see you're not performing up to your potential, I will pick up the phone and I will mess your mind up and I will call you and I'll be like, look, you're underperforming. And I'll be like, I'm saying this out of love. You're underperforming. You can do so much better. This is what you need to do. And see, that's value, but it's also meeting people where they are instead of just, okay, I'm up here, let me just beat you down. Because again, life is already beating people down and beating people up. It's your duty to make people better. I like to call it, I have this thing to where, and I told my staff this the other day, the mantra moving forward is me, M-E. To where basically you motivate and engage. You motivate, you engage. Everybody has superpowers. My superpower is being able to motivate people, to inspire people, to make people better. And I understand how I do it. Either it's through exercise, through social proof with the before and afters. It's through my words that might not even be about weight loss, but just about life or relationships are getting better. So I use my superpowers to motivate you because, again, I know that's what I'm gifted in. I always stay in the lane in which I've been gifted. You're not going to hear me talk about the weather. You won't hear me talk about certain TV shows. You won't hear me talk about politics. That's not my lane. My lane is self-improvement, getting you better. All buckets full from your mind to your behind, improving every phase of your life. So that's what I do. And then the other part of it, the E part, engaging. Now, I can motivate you all day, but if I don't help you, if I don't engage with you, you have a lot of people who have social media pages, but are not social.
That's powerful. Social. Yeah.
It's social media, which means you gotta be social, which means you gotta connect. And once you can connect, then you can provide people with a result. But a lot of people will just post, but not engage. And if you don't put those things together, you won't get the result. And that's what people are craving. And that's what people want. And that's why people follow you, because they want a result. And they feel like you can produce it. But if there's a chink in your armor and you're not good at engaging, you'll never get to the result.
Let me tell you something. That's like the 11th commandment.
Yeah.
The 10 commandments, the 11th commandment is motivate and engage.
We'll add that on.
A lady just posted it. Brandy K _show. She said, I need you.
Well, come on. We doing an altar call in a minute.
Well, I tell you something, Kenya. You have really, I love, you inspire me, man. I'm working on my body. I got my weights. I walk every day. Because my goal is to be 160 years old.
Let's go get it.
And so when I look at you, I get so inspired, and I see the transformation that you've, let's say it like this. The work that you do, you get immediate proof. And that, you know, I may give a lecture, I may teach and motivate, and 3 years later, somebody will say, Dr. Harris, I read this, I heard you, and it helped me get here. In your business, you see proof in a few weeks, a few months. Extremely rewarding.
That's by design. That's by design, because I figure I got to get you to the first 5 pounds within the first 7 days. Because again, everything is about speed. Because this is what I know about people. If you don't get to a certain point quickly, then not only do I lose you, but you lose you. So I got to get you, let's say you're 205. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get you to 199 by next week. And so I need for you to do the work, but I also need for you to believe. So when I show you 199, then I've kept my word. And so now I have equity. I have equity with that person. They believe in me. They know that if I say I'm going to help you do something, I'm going to do it because I've already done it. And that's why I do a lot of videos to where people can do the move and then they can see, well, dang, this does work. Again, I'm a social proof guy. So even in my business, I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're gonna chop the tree down. You need to lose 60. We're going to do it 5 at a time. We're going to do it 5 at a time. I'm going to hold your hand. And the girls that are on the page, they're so supportive of each other. I always partner off people. So there's like tiers of accountability. So it's kind of like you have to be responsible for you, but then you also have to be responsible to your partner. Because a lot of people don't mind letting themselves down, but they have a problem letting another person down. So now I've kind of guilted you into doing what I need you to do, because now you got a partner who's depending on you. And don't have a partner that's gung-ho, that's killing it, then it puts pressure on that person who's not doing to produce. And then I got the second level to where to which you got to hit me up too, because I'm your accountability coach. I give everybody my number. You got to text me every day to let me know that you've done the work. So there's like 2 tiers of accountability. And that's what, and the other mission is just making it fun to where you're not even thinking about losing weight because you're having a good time. We'll have challenges. We'll give away gift cards. I've given away makeovers. I've given away trips to the Bahamas, to Jamaica. So I incentivize people to do well. And the trick is, again, making weight loss fun, making and improving yourself fun, and without thinking about it and without it being.
Well, I tell you something, Kenya, you've said so many jewels today. We're at near the end of our program, and our thoughts today. I think one thought that came to me is when a person sees themselves accomplishing it, it gives them faith in themselves. that's really that's that value
Yes.
you add to people so that they believe in themselves more. And that's a great mission. And then my final thought today is,
Hey.
what do you feel is your greatest victory? You know, it seems like you've done so many things, but what do you feel is your greatest victory, our greatest victory so far?
My greatest victory so far. Just being at a level to where I can trust other people to do what I used to do. And relinquishing power to people who probably can do it better than me. I used to be Superman to where I felt like I had to do everything. I was your classic solopreneur, to where if there was a design that needed to be, that needed to be handled, I do it. Shooting stuff, I do it. If I had an event, I was the event planner. I'd have to call the talent, but now, instead of asking what can I do, I've switched to who can help me do. So I've made the transition of always having my hands on stuff, making that transition to, let me give you what I need for you to do, and trusting that you're going to do it. Because under my old way, my business and my vision would only get as big as I would allow it to. So now when I hand it off to people, now we can grow exponentially.
That's powerful. Now that's a nugget right there, man. We can drop the mic and take up a collection on that
one. Look, we go, everybody say.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You got it. Well, Kenya, what's next for you? Like you've had so much success now. What's the next level? What's your next goal?
Just growing and improving and identifying what's wrong and just finding people to make it right. So everything is about momentum, and we're building great momentum toward the end of the year that will guarantee that 2023 will be the most successful year ever. So at this point right now, the goal is just identifying the holes and the cracks in the boat, patching them up, and still just sailing.
Well, Kenya, I tell you, this has been, I thank you so much for being here today, for being with us. And I guess my final, is there anything that you dropped so many diamonds, it's like I feel like I've been walking through a diamond field. Is there any final words you want to share?
Final words. Thank you for being you. Thank you, Dr. Harris, for showing up every day for all of us. Thank you for inspiring us. Thank you for motivating us. Thank you for giving us, the awesome tools to be better. And again, it's all about adding value, and you show up on all the platforms every day. And I just want to say thank you on behalf of people who follow you daily. So thank you
so much. I'm honored to have interviewed you, and I look forward to us. You helped me manifest my dream of help people say they can be what they want to be, do what they want to do, and have anything they desire. Always that the best
is
to come.
Is it?
Amen. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.